Good afternoon. सबको मेरा नमस्कार. This is International Master and FIDE Senior Trainer Sekhar Sahu welcomes you on behalf of Sports Authority of Gujarat and Gujarat State Chess Association to this intermediate training session. Hello everybody. Dina Patel, Akshar Jhala, Om Desai, Birabhadra Singh, Suresh Bhai Chawda and Priyam Chawda, Bostal Parik, Devars, Ramakrishna, Clara and Vela. All are welcome. So now I will show some very interesting and instructive games of Boris Spassky, the 10th world champion. Very unique in his style and very active grandmaster, active style and attacking. Basically, Spassky, under the training of a very aggressive player, Alexander Toulouse, he became so sharp. Toulouse made a condition to Spassky. When you play tournament, you have to sacrifice something. You have to give a pawn or a piece, queen, whatever. You sacrifice something. Otherwise, you don't talk to me. Don't come show me your face that day. So Spassky was under pressure continuously. He was looking for an opportunity or trying to imagine where he can sacrifice. That is how he grew up. That made him so dangerous player. And later on, when he grew for higher competition, his opening theory and understanding has to be broadened, and he came under the training of Bondravesky, who was a modern player at that time and knew a lot of theory. And Spassky also got acquainted himself with a theoretical aspect. So let's see. Now in this particular game, opponent is a very strong and stubborn player who also plays for a win at every level, at any against anybody. Victor Korsman. So the game becomes a classical Queen's Indian system. Other line is to play A3, which is complicated Petrosian system. A3 is called Petrosian, and this is classical. Also, modern players prefer Bishop A6, diverting queen or pawn, then the return. But here, direct. Now, castle. The Polugowski gambit goes like D5 now. Now, for example, after pawn takes pawn, the knight comes and you will recover the pawn. And now, if you place, this is pawn into knight into, and he gets a good game with E4 and good pressure on the position. Oh, no. I'm making a mistake here. Not E4. You must play knight F5. So this is bad. And now bishop F6 and now E4. White stands better. Space. Anyway, we'll come not in this Polygos gambit, some other game. हाँ मोर भाई वो जो रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफिसर डॉक्यूमेंट आ गया. मैं अभी क्लास के बाद आपको फोन करता हूँ. आ गया वो. हाँ हाँ. कल कल छुट्टी है मेरा. मैं कल आया. मैं फोन करता हूँ आपको 4:30 बजे. हाँ ओके थैंक यू. नहीं थैंक यू ओके. So here this position we'll discuss this Polgowski gambit in some other game. In the particular game here, he goes for NC3 D5. This is a threat now. So here D5. Now Spassky goes for a maneuver which was also later on adopted by other players. The idea being now the bishop line is open. This is open. So it is important that before playing c5 you need to watch this point. C5 c4 cannot be played. Knight into c4 will come. And immediate c5 is bad. I will take and play queen b3. Now this is bad. Take, and queen b3 is good. That is why he has to be careful. Preparing for c5. Okay, this is too many queen moves and two queen moves and are not really great. So white gets a good game. Pressure. I think black should reconsider this because after what followed, black got into trouble. So after this move, Spassky introduced a new maneuver. This is 1964, and in the 1979 Montreal international event, where I think Lubojovic or Kavalak they adopted this system. I think in the game Kavalak Lubojovic, who was white there, probably Kavalak. He introduced this, putting pressure on the hanging pawn. Now knight is coming to f4. So already black position is in doldrum. He has not completed development. Already white is putting lot of pressure on the d pawn. Succumb to pressure, bishop into knight. You have to take, and now this knight takes pawn. You have to take, no choice. Knight into f6 threat. And even if you move the bishop, still knight f6 will come. Even if you still knight f6 will come. Knight c7. So this is minus. You can take with bishop also, but this is straightforward winning. Now knight into bishop check and winning the rook. Tempo, and the rook cannot be defended. Knight c6 is met by knight b5. It is a lost position. Barcelona continued for some time. It is bad. Nothing left. Exchange up and e4 to follow. It's all over. So a similar maneuver was found in the game Montreal 1979. I have shown you anyway. I will just check that. I will check that line. Knight f4, knight d3, knight e5, knight d3, knight f4. I guess Lubojevic it is not there. It is not there. Unfortunately, I don't have that game here. Never mind. No, it is Kavalak was there. So okay, I will find out some other time. Or is this in this year? It doesn't matter. I will see that later. The same maneuvering he adopted and got an excellent position. It is worth noting. I think what was Kavalak maybe. नहीं मिल रहा है भाई. Kavalak, I am not getting Montreal. I guess no. I'm not getting, unfortunately, this game. It should be. It's a good game. It has to be in data. Give me a minute. I guess I got it. So here, hello Mukund Agarwal, Deva Makwana, Shivankar Sarkar. So we have the same maneuver. After 95, white stands better. Such a maneuvering we see in Catalan position also. The same thing. Same maneuver. It has knight f4 to put pressure. The same maneuver. Almost same. Identical. Knight coming to f4, putting pressure on the d5 pawn. Now he wants to trap the queen by rook a8, but he will not get time. Not getting time. Now queen b6 is coming. Plus minus. The position of c4 pawn is falling and white has lot of pressure. The center. So this maneuver is very interesting. You can see this is Queen's Indian. The same thing what Spassky did with Korchnoi. So it is this is helping in the preparation. Okay. So this I leave this. It is please make a note of this. The same maneuver Spassky Korchnoi, Kavala Luguzovic. In the final match in the World Championship in 1969, Spassky needed a win to confirm his title against Petrosian. So here goes for the open game rouser attack. It is a passive move. You have to play e6. This is the main line. After e6, f4, queen f3. There are various lines, but this is the main line. But this is passive move, blocking the bishop. Another bad move. Now, sometimes a move in the opening has a long-term influence in the game in future, in the progress of the game. So such a move like h6, because black is going to castle. So the h6 weakness continuously have to watch a sacrifice there. Now when the position dragon, when the pawn on g6, you play h4 h5. When there is a pawn on h6, now that future strategy should be g4 g5. Suppose there is a fianchetto, normally a player will go for h4 h5 opening h5. Now here in future this strategy will work. So ready. Now you have to commit. You need to go b7 long castle or b7 short castle. So he castles. As I told you, the black strategy should strike at this point. If the pawn is on h7, the castle position is not weak. So even if you play g4, g5, knight e8 will come. It is not easy. Now, even if white manages to get g4, g5, this is very difficult. But this pawn h6 makes it easy for white to open up the game. This such a thing, please note that it becomes a drawback in castle position. Prophylactic move. Of course, at the moment, modern players will not make move like this because they will go straight forward. But a more prophylactic move. Absolutely no chance, and white is giving a positional threat. because in this particular position I want to play knight. But then the check is coming. So here with this move, not only the king is safe from the diagonal, no more in the diagonal. One. Second, the king is watching the weak point there. Third, white is giving a positional threat of taking the knight. I mean, a double bishop. For example, let us say you play bishop d7. Then you will play nd5. Now queen into queen, the knight into rook into white stands better because the back weak pawn in the open line. This is a problem. Next move we will play knight f3 and then double. There is a problem. So this is the one positional threat. So he has to consider that. After the king b1, after the move king b1, the positional threat is coming. So he goes bishop to f8, g4. Now there is no need to prepare s3 g4. This is possible. But it's a good move. Strategically, nothing wrong. But time is very important. Before black organizes bd7, rook c8, one move before he organizes counter attack, white strikes. Now, if you don't take, next move g5 will come and rip open the position of black. Rip him apart. So you have to take. There is no good way. You cannot play passively like knight h7, knight d7. That will lead to worse positions. So if you play nd7, f5 will come. Now pawn f5 will come. So accept that challenge. Queen g2. Okay, very well played. Now g5. You may ask, there is no immediate threat, but the pressure is mounting. Now the pressure is mounting. What else black will do? Black wants to develop. Now you need to prove that giving the pawn and attack, how to make further progress. Hello Ramakrishna. I saw Ramakrishna, I saw your game. The comments today I will discuss. After the all these games I will discuss at the end of the class. So here how white should make further progress. White has got what he wanted. He has opened the G file. All his pieces are good. Center is better. Now it is time to strike. Take the initiative further. How? Basically, I want you to participate. Players, please do not be afraid. Even if your move is wrong, don't worry. I want to read your mind. You have to suggest moves. Ramakrishna says F5. Okay. Any other comment? Feel free. We are not in a tournament. So we are having a casual discussion. This will help you. Okay. There is nobody is coming forward. The correct move. Correct move. Now, if you play pawn into pawn, the bishop line will open up. The tension is mounting here. So he comes king. Now the whole point is now okay. Even if there is no direct threat, that he has made a passive, no aggression. So now white to intensify more pressure. How do you do that? Rina Patel, well played. Ramakrishna, both played correctly. F5. What to do now? You want to open more lines, more files. You get more squares. So Spassky played rook. Idea with a simple threat, he wants to play pawn into and then rook into knight, followed by mate. pawn takes pawn, rook into knight and mate. He has to defend. The queen move does not work. Knight f3 will come. If you play queen, knight f3 will come. So he plays here queen back, defending the knight. This is a wrong square to defend. Knight f3 is bad for black. So defending. Now you need to put further pressure in the position. So very well played, Dina. Dina well played. Pawn into. Now we need to get now. Whole point is as the game opens, the more avenue opens, more opportunity opens. Now 1 and 2 are watching this. Who is the defender? The bishop. That means rook is waiting to hit the bishop. How? बीच में कौन आता है? The knight. The knight is coming in between. That means we can, if you play knight e4, it's crushing. So we cannot play knight e4. So make provision for knight e4. Make knight e4 possible. e5. Idea knight e4. You cannot take my knight. Rook into bishop mate, or I take knight on knight and mate. Now, if you play pawn into pawn, the knight e4 will come. Now, if you take, there is a rook into bishop followed by mate. Or I will play knight into knight and then queen g8 mate. So space clearance. The clearance of space. Knight. आप मारेगा तो मेट इंटू नहीं मारेगा तो knight into knight followed by queen g8 mate. So unfortunately other moves are losing quickly, faster. Any other knight move, rook into bishop will come. So defending the g7 point, but then the queen move. Ignoring this knight, you are free to take my knight. Be my guest. Okay, over. Now there is no need to take knight. I just need to open line. Enough. Because after pawn into, now queen into you cannot play. After pawn into, check, check, and all you need is a rook check. All you need is a rook check. Just check and rook. Idea rook s3 mate. And if you bring pawn e5 and then maybe queen g8, all this leading mating net will come very quickly. And 2-3 moves. If you control h3, this is a mate. Now this does not work. Rook into g4. And if you try to do then queen check, maybe here the bishop check, or here then queen check, king here, bishop check will lead to mate. So all the problems started in the opening. So sometimes if some opening moves have a long-term influence in the game. Where is the move here? h6. This is the move giving bad. Do not create a tactical target in your camp. You know, go to work variation, also the same thing. Here, this idea stems from go to work variation. What is that one? This e5 move, e5, e5. Clear space clearance. Idea knight will enter now. This knight is going to create havoc. So we the Sicilian ideas. This is finished already, and Spassky became world champion after the game. All right, just a minute. I will go to the go to work variation. I will go to the go to work variation. 4 c5, f3 d6, d4, 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 f6, c3, a6, bg5, e6, f4, b7. Now queen f3. Now h6, bh4, g5. This is called the go to work variation. Okay. F into G5. This this one, this one, man. Not this. Okay, I will get the game exactly which I'm looking for. One of this game, it should be. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one here. Similar theme. Basically, one game, you can see the old main line. Now, if you play knight into, the old theory is pawn push and knight there, then pawn f5, giving the bishop into pawn check. This is white stands better. There is a pawn tension on e6, and if you play, he will dump the knight. This is plus for white because the bishop is hanging here. Now, if you take, then you have got queen check. I will pick up the bishop here. Whatever you do, it is bad. So this is a whole variation. That is why here this whole position comes pawn into bishop into knight. Then he takes pawn into. This is also bad variation. Knight e5. Now castle. For example, black's castle position is ugly, but he has bishop pair. This is there and lot of pawns in the center. Lot of pawns. So it is not easy. Of course, there are some improvements. Then white found a great plan here. The same theme, space clearance. The game I just showed you between Spassky and Petrosian, the last match in World Championship. The same theme was used here. So giving a pawn to open up. Now idea queen coming mate only move, and now rook check only move, and now mate threat. Mate threat on f8, threat on f8, and threat on f6. So queen is to come and defend both. No other move. Now, the position is lost provided you can make another attack on the bishop. You make another attack on the bishop, it is lost. For example, imagine knight coming to e4. Imagine your knight comes to this e4 point. E4. Then you will be lost. You will be lost. Because the bishop has no square to move. But how can you come? Your own pawn is occupying that. So now the queen is in a tight position. So attack the queen. I need to get rid of this pawn, then only I can get. So to get the pawn, first move the knight. Maro, force move hai, queen cannot move. So only move. Now space clearance. Now you take the knight double attack all over. This is over. Now if you come here, knight into, you cannot take with the queen. You take this pawn into the only move. You cannot take with any pawn. You take with the pawn into pawn, then he can play rook into also. Okay, this is also bad. G2 and rook f1. So he comes queen, should win. This should win the game because white has got one extra. What is got that superior structure and very strong position. This is bad position for white. Black, I'm sorry. So here he has to play the only move. Here only move bishop there. Pawn into pawn is bad because that, as I told you, knight e4 is coming over devastating attack. So the only move he has to play, giving the bishop. Okay, made threat. Now pawn into pawn and wins the game. You cannot take g7 mate. Threat. Threat is pawn into bishop takes bishop e6. So only move rook. Oh, this is okay. Rook. Whatever do. Even this is lost. Even this is lost. Rook queen is tied down to f8 also. Winning. Interference. You have to either concede this point or concede this point. One of the point. Now, if you take with the bishop, g7 is gone. You take with the bishop, rook g7. And you take with the rook, pawn into pawn. One of the point. So, interference, space clearance. You see, this is important, the space clearance. Here, this is space clearance. 94 is coming. Okay, what about d5 instead of d5? When is the move? d5 instead of d5. I did not see which game you are talking. Maybe the earlier one. It doesn't matter. So this is a typical game. Holmo Bronstein. Semitaras. e4. I told you b6 bb7 is a better line for black. b6 castle bb7 re1 nd7 is better. Here castle rook e1. Now rook d1. Now this is a better line re8. Not the mistake of knight f6 by Keres Rubin 5. So this is little better for white. So in the game, but it was later. It was all discovered later. So this was played natural. Knight coming. So white strikes now. d5. d5. Now white has got all centralized pieces. So it goes for attack. The knight is gone away. Knight cannot return to king side for defense. So the king is without a guard. The black king is without a guard. So enters. No exchange. Idea, I want to play NG5 now, creating a weakness in the camp. So, want to exchange. White is at a crossroad, a critical moment. Queen exchange करना है या नहीं? Because the pawn is falling. No queen exchange. Now, apart from the pressure on the black king, white has one more advantage. Central pass pawn. A very strong theme I have done in my earlier classes. One session I gave only for central pass pawn. Now white will start advancing. Advancing. Suddenly the rooks are paralyzed because the pawn takes away squares. And apart from that, with the help of queen and knight, also I will put pressure. These two pass pawns, it is a remote thing. Pass pawns are remote. that only if you exchange the end game, no symbol. Only white has to watch the back rank sometime. But at the moment, the rooks are paralyzed, no back rank. So for practical purpose, it is winning. The extra pawn of black is useless. The two pass pawns are not moving. So Spassky demonstrated idea knight g5. Now knight g5 is coming. So now rook. Idea rook 7th rank. Idea just putting pressure on the point b5. Finish. You cannot take. What else you will do? Now if you play b4, trying to advance the pawn, I will play another rook. Idea rook into d8. You cannot take any pawn, any rook. Check and new queen will come. New queen you cannot take mate. So Spassky's games always very carefully one has to see. Every move has a deep tactical insight. There is always there or attack. So you cannot play the pawn push. Supporting. Now pressure on the d8. Now the whole point is there is always mating net. You know, Frank Marshall, the former US champion, he dominated American chess for 50 years. 50 years. No record you will find like that. 50 saal he was dominating chess in USA. All his lifetime. The threat is made. The idea rook into rook and then rook e8 made. A new queen is coming. He resigns. Nothing can be done to stop the mate. So Spassky was like Marshall. Some people say the Marshall's soul was coming to Spassky. So he was playing Marshall Gambit and attacking like Marshall. This is not correct to talk like that. Okay. Okay, in the Petrosian game. I will see that. You want to see Petrosian game? Okay, I will go back. So he says, why not DE5? What is the question here? Hmm, he says, what about D5 instead of DE5? What about, okay, in the game it says D5. This one, then I will play rook into the mate. So in that case, I will play, if you play, instead of if you play D5, I will play rook into. This is a heavy lineup. Okay. So, Bogo Indian defense. Well, Spassky was past his prime. I mean, after 1972, he lost a match. He migrated to France, rather ran away. Then he just played chess because what else will do? Now, with his knowledge, experience, and strength, he has to make a living also. So he was just playing, and uh, later on, he played a match with Fischer in '92, past his prime. Both the players, they passed their prime. Still, the match was interesting. Here he plays Bogo Indian. It is not the best move. So we have a Carlsbad structure. We have got the Carlsbad structure that this is called the Carlsbad structure. White has two plans. Basically, White prepares for b4, b5 and take the pawn and create a target. That is one of the plans. He can play a3, he can play queen b1, idea b4. Next, to prepare queen b4, he can play queen b1, he can play a3, b4, rook b1, various plans. The second plan is go for White can go for attack, but he cannot attack now because to attack you need more pieces and to advance, which is not possible. So here the minority attack is the only thing for White, and in return, Black will have a king side attack. For example, I can show you one position. Show you one position. Now e4 c6. Now d4 d5. Now ed. Now bishop d3. Now knight f6 or knight f3. Now knight c6 c3. We are having the same Carlsbad structure with the reverse color. What White is having, the black in the Spassky's game, the same thing with black pieces. But here, White has an extra tempo. So, the minority attack will not come. Here, there is no minority attack coming. Because White has an extra tempo. So, this is better than that. However, White gets attacked. I mean, Fischer played this and beat Petrosian convincingly as White. So the same structure, Carlsbad structure, this is the same thing. What you observe this structure, 4-3, and the other game, same thing. The same structure with reverse color. Now black has attacking chances. However, let us see castle. Now black is trying to bring all forces to the king side. Now, of course, if you exchange the queen, black will forget about the attack. You need the queen if you want to have a king side attack. So he starts the minority attack. Next move, he will play b5 and take the pawn and create a target. Why this move? Black cannot stop the plan, but at least black will open the rook line. At least now a6, a4. Now b5 will come, but a rook बैठे बैठे ready हो जाएगा. So more attack. Now s3 is bad. Knight into e3 will come. No. Knight f3, but it is a weakness. You cannot play s3. Knight into e3 will come. Yeah, and then rook into e3. Now if you play, don't you think it's working? Yeah, it should working. It is working. Attack and attack. So you can't play that move. So here knight coming, he plays queen back. Take. Now the rook is active. The rook is active in the line. Queen f3. Queen f6. Idea, queen into f2 check. So he defended. Now the point is, the pieces have become very passive. Now this is badly placed. This is also badly placed. So the two knights are near the king. It is a bad position. This is bad. Now threat. Now thanks to the rook line, he opens up. Now he is giving a straightforward threat. Idea rook into, and when you take queen into pawn is winning. Mate in 3. So you have to defend f2 point. You have to overprotect. Now the position is winning. If you remember the game Laskar versus you know, that was a different position. What you need, your knight, this knight should come here. Then the attack is coming. Then you are gunning at f3. But I am unable to play because of the pawn. That means you need to deflect the pawn. Just like Laskar did with you. The same thing is doing. Now I need to do deflect the pawn. C5. Now queen cannot take, the bishop will fall. So my threat is now to trap the bishop. Initiative. And this all this won't work because anyway the threat is coming. So takes, oh yeah, double attack on the bishop. Bishop is attacked two times. Now the main idea of this maneuver, now queen f3. Ramakrishna, I also play the structure at white, but I play any two like Kasparov. Okay, f3 e4. Okay, so here queen f3. There is no stopping mate. White is helpless that he cannot control d2 with another piece. He have to accept the queen and get mated. He resigned here because on this mate in two. After knight check, king mate, next move. No answer. Checkmate. So the whole concept is just like Alekhine Reddy, just like some Spassky played with another player and open the line. Open the line with, you open the line with a6. This is an important move. Important move. You want to get b5, you allow my rook to open up. Okay, this calls for structure, minority attack. That gets this kind of play. Maybe I'll show you one more game of this. Though I am showing you, it is also possible. San Antonio. We get a similar structure, not exactly. We get a similar structure here. No, not this, not this. I think it is may not be Portis because Portis is hot maybe. Uh, San Antonio only it was. Let's see. Let's see Portis. Lazos Portis is San Antonio. Not getting it. Unfortunately, it is 72. Okay, never mind. I will not waste time on that. Let me go to the next game. Okay, this is Patigorovsky Cup 1966. Then about 12 to 14 top players of the world were invited to a round robin tournament. So all this is theory. Now the idea is threatening. The queen is putting pressure on this. Indirectly after taking. So rook will come. This is the idea. So protecting the bishop also indirectly. Now this is not a good move. But actually this is not the best move. The correct move is to play f4. But Fisher was known to be very thorough in theory. He was always update about the modern theory. And he had always something up his sleeve. That is why Spassky avoided the theoretical path and played here Queen e1. Now I want to tell you this is a very tricky line. Of course, white want to attack again with f4. But what should you do now? Now he played this move e6, and after that there was a problem. I mean, Fisher got into deep trouble after this. What should you do now? Please think. Think for a moment. What will you do? Take your time. No hurry. How should black play? Now, the point, this is actually a bluff. Queen e1 is a pure bluff. The correct answer. Now, Fisher played this bad move, e6. But Queen a5. The idea now, I want to exchange pawn into pawn and exchange the queen. Then no attack. You can't stop it. White cannot stop this. For example, now if you play d5, knight e5, then your bishop has a problem because you cannot move. Knight is coming to d3. So d5 is not possible. And if you play rd1 to overprotect, pawn into pawn, queen exchange. No, forget about attack. Now black is good. Now 2-1 majority is there. Grunfeld, there is main problem to Grunfeld, exchange variation and attack. No attack is coming now. So Queen a5 was the perfect move. So he simply mishandled the position. He played e6. Okay, after this also, it is not that winning, but Spassky played ingeniously. Now cd4, even this is coming tempo, better position for white. That is why he should not open up the game. So in the game, he played knight a5. You know, with the idea, he wants to dissolve the center or clarify the center with f5. So f5. The point is, Pasky was so good in pawn tension in the center. If you play e5, all attack will go. You play e5, you forget about the attack. There is no more attack will come. That is why the pawn tension must be maintained. Maintaining the tension, improving inch by inch. Idea, the exchange of bishop will leave the black king completely weak. One important guard will go. Important guard. Now open the position. If you do this strategic blunder. So you are welcome to, so that my knight will enter. Idea, if you take pawn into pawn, d5, I will take f5 pawn. Then completely destroying the castle. Castle cover is gone. So he played in the game pawn into pawn. Now not mechanical retreating. Now not mechanical retreating, he plays f5. Great. Spassky never missed an attacking chance. He was completely focusing. Student of Alexander Toulouse. Toulouse was a great tactician and great in attack. So he never missed an opportunity of attack. Fantastic. You take the pawn, then there is an attack. For example, suppose you take the pawn, attack is coming. Now queen, you take my bishop, 97 check, 97 check is coming. So knight into pawn is winning. And if you play ed3, there is a funny win. Queen check, the only move. You cannot play queen because of knight fork. Knight fork is there. So only move, check, rook check, only move, and queen is gone. So you cannot play ed4. And if you play any other move, for example, now if you play gf5 lost. So only move. Now bv4 loses the material, knight into check, and queen attack, rook attack. And unfortunately, you cannot play queen, knight fork is there. You cannot support, you cannot support this way also. Knight check and queen check, discover check. King is without a guard. No bishop and knight is far away. So this variation also does not work. That means the only move, and after bishop takes, you cannot exchange the bishop. Still you cannot exchange. Still this is lost. Now knight check, rook check, and knight into h2 check. Now if you go back here, knight into check, and again knight check, it should win. So you come up, then queen check, queen moves, loses the queen. If you play, queen is lost, and if you come, checkmate, checkmate. So only move, the only move, and queen is gone. So is series of forcing moves. You cannot take bishop now also. So Fisher played the only move. Again the correct. Whatever you do, it is bad. Now king coming looks like a good move, but after pawn into knight check is coming. Idea queen h7 mate. So the only move here, he plays king, but then pawn into idea queen h6. No check and lost position. Now only move. Now he is winning the end game. The point is, bishop is a vastly superior piece in open position and 2 on majority. White's trump card is he has superior minor piece, and now this is winning because 2-1 majority. This is 2-1 majority, and bishop is stronger than the knight. The king is active. Which is now winning. King, no dissolving. h5. Well, in this position, he played this move here. bd5 was better, but in the game he played back. Should win easily. Now the king is coming. The king is coming. The knight is tied down for the pass pawn, and this is like a bishop extra. The pawn now the knight is tied down. King. It will run to Zugzwang. Nothing. He has to wait. King. King. Now you have to be careful. You have to be very careful about it. So here this will draw. Suppose you take the pawn, it's a draw. Such a winning position, you have to be very careful in ending. Suppose you take the pawn, it's a draw. Now he will come, push. He will come. Now he will come. Now king cannot move. The king is now what you call shouldering. The king is now not allowing the king to come. It's a draw. He will just mark time with the knight. He will push the pawn and play some knight moves only. Draw. That is why a hasty move is not correct. You should not play bishop. Even the check is okay. Even this check is okay. Please stop the pawn. Winning. 6-1. Now, if you move like this, now I will play maybe king into pawn is enough. Now, if you come back, I will return, and then bishop will do the job. So winning. Yeah, it is knight force. It is a part of the attack. It is not attack and tactics go hand in hand. Okay. The next one is also with Fisher and King's Gambit. 1960, they met for the first time in the Olympiad. But in this one, Fischer played normally. He is a Sicilian player. He played e4, e5. So Spassky played King's Gambit. Fischer knew he was playing King's Gambit, so he accepted. So this is called the Kaisereski, knight f3. The other line is bishop c4 is not dangerous. Bishop's gambit is not dangerous because this is Botvinnik's plan. Give the pawn, and after bishop takes, knight attacks. Will equalize. But the better way to play is to play knight here. Why return the pawn? Why return? Now queen h5. I will simply play knight. You control e5 and the pawn. The pawn is supported. e5 control. No more threat. Now next move c6 and d5 I will prepare. This is safe way to play, and you get nothing out of it as white. White gets nothing. That is the reason the Kaiser's gambit is better. Knight f3 is better. Now, after this, Fischer lost the game, and then Fischer worked because he cannot digest an insult. He was very egoistic. He did not sleep peacefully. He wrote an article, a bust to King's Gambit. Then Fischer variation d6. A very beautiful article. Until today, it is the main line against King's Gambit. Fischer defense. So there he played g5. Not good. Idea immediately. Now this is passive. You play no, then too much loss of time. Knight coming, queen is too much time. So aggressive move. If you play on h4, a piece sack will come. I will show a game of David Bronstein. Knight. Okay. If you play knight into g4, knight e4 with a better game. So he decided knight. So white has a lead in development. Now exchange the most active piece of black e4 knight. You have to take or lose time. So white is better, little better. Center. White is ahead in two, three things. Number one, white has more development. The B file is open. The rook can operate on the B line. On center is good. So F line, B line, a lot of opening. Fischer was materialistic. He was ruthless in grabbing material. No problem. So white is better now. All white pieces are now acting. So rooks are doing proper job. Knight is doing a good job in center. Now black is little weak, but the position is defendable still. According to some theory, queen d7. This is heavily analyzed. Now bishop check, check. Actually here this is a good move. The position is equal. Now pawns are more equal and the position also. Four pawns each or black has an extra pawn. That is not important at the moment. The position is equal. Here, this is the move would have equalized. Offer queen exchange. Now queen is in center. This should be equal. A draw. But Fischer played a bad move here. Queen g4. And I think after this, Tosky gave no chance. Amazing move. Now, very fine rook e5. Suddenly, the queen cannot come to c1, d2, e3, f4, all are guarded. You have to watch the bishop now. You have to watch rook into bishop now is threat. So if you come there, rook e4 is coming. So this is lost. If you come here, if you come over here, I think how is he going to win this game? Probably rook here is enough. Rook should be enough. Hmm? अरे queen exchange rook and queen. I'm mixing the simple move. Rook and queen. This is also ace हो गया मुझे भी. So ये भी नहीं चलता है. So only move and now queen. He must lose the piece now. Fantastic. No good square. The e7 will fall. Resigns. But Fischer showed a defense here. That apart from queen g3, Fischer said rook f4 in this position. Bishop f8. Here, instead of rook f8, Fischer said that bishop f8 is equal. This is an equal position. But then Fischer wrote an article, Bust to King's Gambit, and till today that is followed. Third move d6, f4, ef4, now knight f3, d6. Not allowing, the knight is restricted. Knight is restricted. Then black will play h6, g5. Now if you play d4, now h6. Now if you play bishop c4, g5. Now you castle, then bishop g7. Knight e7, and then castle. This is his idea. And in the meanwhile, if you play like this, now this is not a threat only. So Fischer defense. Okay, this is a good one, d6. Now I will go to some two kings gambit games, showing you the danger. Kaiserski h4 threat. Now bishop into f4 threat. Once the pawn falls, pawn is not important. Rook will join the attack. Knight into pawn. Now two pieces for the rook, but the f line will open. Take, take. Now bishop into pawn. Take, castle. Now the bishop is lost. That means you have got rook and pawn for two minor pieces, but a very bad king position of black. Check. This attack is coming. Knight. Tempo. Everything. Keeping under lock and key. No knight f6 can come, nothing. Now diagonal check. Black diagonal check. It should lead to mate or losing heavy material. Check. The discovery and so many things will fall. So the king's gambit one should not underestimate. I used to play king's gambit in my early career. Very early career I used to play. So in this game also ba2. Yeah, there was rook f8. Yeah, that guy in that in that game. Yeah. This is also a possibility. The idea you push the knight g5 enters. Now g4 attack f7. It is important to stop. Bishop c4 is coming now. And now queen into g4, the knight will be under attack. So threat, check, and now bishop back. You can take the rook. You can take the rook. At the moment, white is a full rook down. But white pieces are very dangerous. Now, you just the king, black king cannot coordinate. I will not exchange queen. Check, check, the only move. Otherwise, king e7, queen d6 check is the only move. Note, giving a check, everything will spoil. If you give the check, queen will come, rook will come. So queen into pawn is a bad idea. So black better. White is better now. He is going to pick up the knight, then only exchange down for so much of advantage. Now only exchange down. For exchange down, now there is lot of weak points in black camp. Now pawn push will come. Now e7 is coming. You have to surrender the exchange and play. Now 4-3, one pawn up or white. Okay, I leave this King's Gambit. It is useful, but today King's Gambit is not popular because white does not got more than in a draw in many games. So it is. I saw the last time in the top level, Garry Kasparov played with Karyakin. I think he played with Karyakin, King's Gambit, in that rapid. Magnus Carlsen also tried his hand in that one time. Another Grunfeld game, Spassky. Positional line. You see, this is a positional line. But Kasparov had given preference for knight f3. Knight f3, castle, or b1. This is Kasparov's preference. Aggressive line. This is preferred by Karpov and many players. A positional line. The move bishop g4 was tested in Karpov Kasparov in match. And after knight here, bishop takes pawn, rook here, pawn into rook here. All this thing was tried, and now black will get counterplay. Whether you take with the king or queen, the knight is coming with counterplay. The extra pawn of white is of little use, so you won't get much. All these things was tried here. Queen c7, rook c1, the old main line. Now, in the game, one of the game, Spassky found an interesting idea against Tukmako. I will show that later. Not Tukmako, sorry, Beliavsky, against Beliavsky. The idea is to prevent that bishop move and preparing to advance with f4, f5. Now, if you play immediate f4, bishop g4 is really annoying. So before advancing, you need to secure the knight which is protecting center. A knight am to watch this center. So S3 is a necessary move to prevent then start next F4. Now F4. Now the queen will come to king side F5 with the usual attack. G4 pawn tension. White just want to open the position. It doesn't matter which pawn you take. Now BB7 is called for. After that, white stands better. Everything is well guarded. So instead of BB7, he played here pawn into pawn. Welcome. It turns out the same line. White has built up a position and F5 in the air. Anyway, this pawns and knight rook will start an attack on the black. Necessary. You see, Spassky never missed his calculation and judgment of attack. The black king is without a guard now. Black king is without a guard and the pawn is under pressure. Under pressure. Now he is ready to play an end game. But actually rook and knight will give mate threat. After queen exchange, rook into and rook e7 is a threat. Time. You see time. No problem. Meaning the idea discover check and king g8 knight mate. Now he attacks the queen. If you now discover check, what else you will do here? Idea discover check, queen is under attack. This is queen is under attack. And if you move the queen somewhere, knight check and knight check. Now you have to save the queen or you have to meet the checkmate. So he decided to attack, but then knight check. So he is sufficient now. The rook e7 is threat. Fantastic. The queen or mate. Beautiful attack. After you take queen check and the queen is lost or it is getting mated only. So finishing the game. You can see that in this is just a model game. Many times in his career, Spassky brought, especially with white was deadly. Black also he has attacked. Yes, yes, I want to correct Leko with that F5 maneuver. His King's Gambit is played. It is played. I had a story somewhere that Spassky's coach told him that if you does not sacrifice a piece, you don't know. No, no, it is not that. His coach always told you have to sacrifice something in each game. Otherwise, I will not talk to you. That day, I will not talk to you. So he was under pressure to sacrifice a pawn or a piece or anything. This is what Spassky wrote in his book. I am eager to look forward. Spassky is writing his autobiography. I am eager to looking forward for that book. Raskowski, 1972, Spassky lost the match with Husser. And government became very angry. How can you lose to an American who is our enemy? So they did not receive him at airport. When he returned from Reykjavik, there was nobody to receive him at airport. Terrible. So Spassky was under so much pressure that the next Russian championship Soviet champion. He has to play his best, and he won that tournament. 73 tournament, Spassky played really vigorously and won that Soviet championship. One of his best tournament performance. So Rouser attack, the old main line. The other line, here Queen F3 and long castle. This is other line is Queen F3 long castle. So he plays a different line. Idea. I want to put pressure on E5. Knight F3 and E5. Rook. So the thematic move. Now Spassky offers a piece sacrifice. Now Queen is under attack. So it is somewhat similar to the game Tal Larsen in Montreal, but here with a difference, Queen G4. Now, now the knight is under attack. If you take the knight, you lose castle chance, and it is bad. And if you take rook, there is like Tal Larsen. If you take the rook, you will have an intermediary. This is an intermediary move, and also he can play knight and pawn as in the game. Which one to take? You want to remove, go for knight, queen into g2, all are losing line. Check. Arithmetically, he has only one square because f6 will allow double check. That is what he did. F6, double check. Discover check. Pawn on the 7th house. Now, check. The only move. And the queen is gone. Okay, alternately, you can come here. You can come here. This is also lost. After, how can I win this game? Guess I guess knight check is okay. Or bishop check should win. Picking up the queen, picking up the knight, and another piece. So you can't play. Only move, and the queen is gone. So it was a fantastic attack, and the whole point is later on it was found. Later on it was found that knight c5 was possible. Here, here b4 is bad. Here b4 is a bad move. Now knight to knight, whatever you do, it is attack. Now you play a pawn into, then Spassky and Tal has showed this kind of attack. Then discover check. Then if king goes knight check, so you have to surrender. Now you got rook here, rook here. You have to return the piece. There is no fun. So you cannot accept pawn into. So you have to play only move queen. But then still I am challenging the take the piece. And white is better. So instead of that, it is rather play NC5. That also was found out after the move. The more debatable move is NC5. Here, knight C5. This is also white better. Okay, here, and attack comes. Very well played. What other move? For example, here, what you will do now? Now here, after B5, castle, or you come here in this position. Let us say you played in the game queen. Suppose you play ND7. Now you play queen D2, queen F3. Now, now you play B5, castle. Now you play BB7. Now BD3. Now queen B6. How would you react to this now? Yes, I saw Ramakrishna. I saw your comments analysis of Chinese game. I will discuss that today. There was his coach will beat him up and sacrificing the king. So this is now this position. He has answer. He can play queen e. So anyway, so Raskowski's game was good. Bishop c4 is the other line. Now this is dragon and Nasdaq mix. Mixing dragon. Some people call as this dragon drop, but this is not good now. That means he's worried. Now if you castle, I will have a standard attack on h4 h5. So he was worried. So he played g6 h6. Okay, how to continue the game? This is all bad decision by black to open the position with king in center and uncoordinated. Now, how to handle the position? Think and tell me. Tell me what will you do? So, any comment? This is the one crushing. You cannot open the position, make a weakness. Actually, this position, this sort of position, Dragon Nasdaq. Now, somewhere he had played some f3, b3, and Anand Black played Dragon Nasdaq, and then he went for this with Praganan. But not after this. Bad move. A d6 weakness. D6 weakness. So, finishing the game. Now attack will come. So bishop c4. I have got two pawns in the pocket. White has already two pawns in the pocket. And third pawn. The point is the material in units are equal, but the piece position, king position, a file nothing. The bishop is protecting a2. So queen and rook are doing nothing. Okay, bishop b3 same. मेट हो जाएगा अभी d8 पे चेक भी आएगा आएगा one move threat stop it. This is anything you do opening further and further bad. Met threat. So go queen. Only move. Idea bishop c5. Idea bishop c5. Timing. Idea bishop c5. Only move. Spassky has seen all this. Check. And I collect. Now I will open up. White has more material. Compared. Because two pawns and exchange is too much with a bad king. Idea rd7. h4. Everything. Only move check. Finish. Idea pawn check. Idea now pawn check is coming. And if you stop, then bishop check. There is no answer to the pawn check. No answer. It's all over. Now he played this check, then this check. Continue. You lose the queen. So the whole point is that you cannot open the game. And especially a strong player will crush. You cannot play some move like e5 at that point. Anyway, so Okay, I will see. I will see that game. Let's see. Tell you, I saw Ramakrishna. You need to. You are giving the comment. You need to give strategic ideas. Basically, now okay, this is three night variation. All right, DC4. Okay, E4 is possible. E3 is solid. Okay, E3 is okay. Castle, castle. Now, no, you have to write. This is not the best move. Not the best move. Now the correct move is to play rook e1. This is the correct move. Center. IQP. Now you have pressure on the center. So we should not dissolve so quickly. White rook is ready to come to third rank anytime for attack. Now the pressure is there. So the main move is rook e1. Now how black is going to develop the pieces? Let us see some games. Rook e1, nc6, a3, queen d3. Idea. Next I will play some bishop move. I will play bishop move. Bishop will come here. Okay. rd1. And then next move we will play bb1 with a threat bishop into knight. So you want to take, knight will replace. I want a weakness. You play some g6, f6, weakness. This is bad because white center is good. Black has lost an important card. Crushing. Bad position now. White wants to have king side and winning the game. You overlook. This is a bad move, but anyway the position is inferior. Knight g5 is coming. h5 coming. So take queen check will lead to mate. Why not queen check? What is wrong with this? Okay, okay, he is escaping. I saw. Okay, here this check and finish. Overwhelming. So re1 is a good move, and there is maybe some more games I'll show you. re1 is the main line. This is re1. So after re1, white stands better. This is actually a positional mistake. This is a positional mistake. You are helping white to strengthen the center, losing 2 3 moves for nothing. And after this, plus minus. Okay, let us see Boris Gelfand, who is a strategist. Okay, opponent is a grandmaster. It is that he won't get a tempo. This is not a normal move, so he is gaining a tempo. bf4. Now weaknesses nd7 and g6. Winning. Okay, re1 is the correct move. And what you suggested in the game d5, I doubt it. The 10th move d5. Yes, you should not dissolve. I think dissolving you cannot count on many advantages. No, d5 is not correct. Now you should play rook e1 is the main line. Okay, so this you did not mention in the game. The other game also. So you need to comment more on strategic ideas. So here, this is what Anderson Adloff. Normally, this is in the variation is played here. If you want to play attack over line, now here, now h6 is correct. Now, now after bh4, castle and knight f3, b6. This is the correct move because you have gained in tempo. I mean, instead back rank is cleared. So this is a good idea. You need to mention that if you want to play attack or variation, this is black has to do this, but black has failed to do this. Now it is important that you can play mention that instead of bd3, maybe queen b3 is good idea. Now if you take my bishop come directly and I want to make long castle and attack, I want to do this is a possibility. And also you need to mention the variation. Bishop takes knight. The bishop takes knight. Bishop takes bishop. A pawn into pawn. Pawn into pawn. The queen move. Now you defend this point. Now some bishop comes here. I am ready to castle. So I will start. My plan is to play h4, g4 and g5 and attack. So I will play h3 suppose. Now you play nd7. I will play g4 and now attack is coming. Now if you play pawn tension, I will just castle. So this is acceptable for me. So g4, g5 is in the air. Okay. So you need to mention bf6, bf6, cd, ed, queen b3. This is a plan. Okay. In the game, you did not, you see, continuing with the plan or protecting the knight. Okay. This is a standard move. I think you have to mention hanging pawns you have given. But the point is, the accepting hanging pawn, you have not mentioned anything. The point is, hanging pawns are good only when black is able to open the game for his pieces. But here, black pieces are not ideally placed for an attack. So, hanging pawn is a burden. Now, playing against hanging pawn, a player should put so much pressure on one pawn. If I can force pawn to c4, it is a good idea. If I can pressure, force black to play, it is very good for white. So here queen a4, idea rook coming. Now you must mention that exchanging pieces leads to trouble for hanging pawn side. Black must try for an attack, as in the game Botvinnik versus Lisitsin. Botvinnik black, Lisitsin white, Tal black who is Kaspersky was white. So this is not good. Now, several exchanges taking place. So, it will lead to very bad and lost, very bad poor ending. Very bad. In those days, it was not known what to do with hanging pawns. For example, I have showed the Sokolowski. I think it is Sokolowski, not Lisitsin. Botvinnik versus Sokolowski. See that? किधर है? नहीं मिल रहा है. This is the one. Boat 2. यही नहीं इधर. Maybe it Lisitsin, Sokolovsky, not Sokolov. Is this the game? Yeah, this is the game. You know, here the pieces of black. Now your black is taking hanging pawns. Now black has hanging pawn, but his pieces are very active. Now bishop, I will open up the position and start an attack. Sacrifice threat. Bishop into e3 is a threat. Threat. Queen into s2 threat. f2 threat. आ गया minus for white. Hanging pawn, you must play actively, otherwise it is bad. And exchange of pieces will lead to a passive position. So player with hanging pawn should avoid unnecessary exchanges. Then the burden becomes more. वीरभद्र सिंह आपका गेम है इधर रखा है मैं क्यों ओपन नहीं हो रहा है this is Chinese game so you have commented but you try to focus more on strategic ideas okay what is this where is Veerabhadra Singh maybe before this I guess I analyzed that game probably okay I will check that later one more game I will see we have time for one more game Pasky versus Saravan in one Olympiad you know I will tell you I will tell you a story about it. In the Olympiad, Indian team was there. So one Indian player, one Indian player went and touched Spassky from the behind. Why? Because Spassky's all power he will extract. He will extract all Spassky's power. The magnet, the attack, all the open line. So he went and touched Spassky to take all the power. There is a result happened like that. That player lost very badly most of his games in Olympiad. And Spassky was winning brilliant. So don't ask me who is that player. Okay. He went and coolly touched Spassky so that the power will. Spassky is a bigger magnet. So he took all the power. Let us see this game. So Black is a very good positional player, legendary, fantastic player of USA. He lives in Sweden. Yes, sir, Saravan. So attacking player h4. Now the point is, now if you play e6, the piece is trapped. g4, you will trap the piece. h6, the other alternative, you can play g4. And if you play, then this is terrific position. This is just bad for black. For example, let me just hold on for a minute. Now this is bad. If you play here, then bishop d3. Now bishop into bishop. And now queen d3 is very good for him. Now knight here. This is winning position. You cannot take, then queen check, and now knight e5 with a crushing position. But there has been an improvement. There has been an improvement. Here, when you play here, in the old books, the black used to go back. And now White will play some NC3, then black will play E6. Then black will play like French defense. Idea, all these loose pawns. These pawns are loose. So he will play like a French defense. But this also is good. White, White was Kramnik. He crushed somebody. White Kramnik, I don't know who is the black player, but he crushed somebody. Actually, I had the same position. I played this move because I did not like the pawn h5 will come. Now the point is, if you play here, the h5, g5, the position is closed. The knight will come, e7, the knight sitting. But Kramnik did not do this. He did not push h5. He did not do this. So he played some knight coming here. I don't remember who is the black player here. So here the improvement is not going back. This is the improvement. The idea now if you play f3, because if you move the rook, you can play e6 and stabilize. Black is fine. So if you play f3, then the g3 square is becoming potentially weak. Mohit Stream was asking me about Karoka. So I think this can be a good variation for discussion for him. And now bishop attacked and bishop goes back. Bishop goes back. Now the same thing does not work well. The reason is now because white has a weak point, black will come. Now check, no problem about it. Now you need to watch g3. So you have to stop. And now black can play knight d7 to meet bishop f4 with e5. White center is blown, man. White center is got crushed. Now pawn into, knight into, the rook is coming, the knight is coming. So it is not a great thing. That means this is a substantial improvement. This is substantial improvement. Who I saw the game. Who was black? I think the women world champion Maya Chibundis. Okay, so Maya played this move, and now black is okay. So improvements continuously takes place. Okay, this is okay. All right, in the variation. So let us see Yasar's game. Yasar Sairavan now played h5. This is the main line. h4, h5 is the main line. Now c4. Now bishop takes. Actually, this is because Spassky is an attacking player. So Yasar wants to take away pieces and solid play. This is not a good idea. I mean, he should have played here e6. The main line, knight c3, and now the game could continue something like knight d7 and knight e2. You need to play. This is the correct move because pawn into pawn, then he can attack the knight and then he can attack this bishop into pawn b2. Both have their own attack. Both have their targets. So this is one possibility. You can play knight e2 here. Then black will play knight d7 with the idea. With the idea you can play bishop d6 and knight f5. With the idea you can play. There are variations. So knight, this is the how it played. But this variation in the game not good. I have already told in some class earlier that this check is a bad thing. Bishop d2 and queen takes pawn is a self goal. With the idea the rook will come now. A self goal trap. क्वीन का भागने का रास्ता ही नहीं. So suppose he tries to cover. I want to run away. Then I will play rook and take. What did I tell here? I think rook. Now the pawn is attacked. So you have to play knight. With the idea now bishop c3 again trapping the queen. Now I play b4. the rook here, and then again trapping the queen. Of course, Yasser Sairavan is a too strong a player to overlook all these things. Very, very strong grandmaster. I have high respect for his positional ability. He even beat Kasparov, Korsunay, lot of strong players. And he was running a magazine named called Inside Chess in America, very good magazine. So here he will not go for all this six silly mistakes. So took the idea is to reduce the attacking chance of white. So we have a French structure with a bad bishop, not in the not for black. But black has lost valuable time. Black has got rid of the bad piece, but he is behind in development and time. You cannot afford to exchange black square bishop, but this is necessary. Plus, classical player, Sasky, the only active rook. If you delay, if you delay queen coming to d2, then I will replace with rook c1. Only move. Very well played. So now series of threats and taking line. White stands better. White stands better because he has seized the file. You compare the active queen, active knight, active queen, active knight. Fantastic bishop watching this point and rook in the open line. So white has got an advantage. The pawn is cramping, backward pawn. So it is clearly better. But note the game. Now b2 pawn attack. So he has defended to free the knight. 8th rank. Okay. Okay, you need to be very careful about that. So he comes here. How long? It is practical virtual middle game zugzwang. Just see, the queen has no good square. The d7 knight has no good square. Rook cannot move. The only move is knight. A virtual middle game zugzwang. Knight. Now I'll open up. Just open up. Okay, taking the pawn, then this is killing him. The idea queen g5 and then the g8 knight will fall. So you cannot, dare not open black. White to play and win. White to play and win the game. Hello, Dr. Sanapati. So finishing the game. White to play the win. Idea now rook into knight. This is gone. कुछ कर नहीं सकता है. He cannot do anything. Now queen exchange cannot do. Now knight are redundant. No king move. He cannot stop. Rook into knight and queen into. Finishing the game. यहाँ क्या हो रहा है? Rook into. Finish. Okay, you can take it also, but he will get some life. If you take it, some life will come. So he just plays king. Idea queen means checkmate in one. Mate in one. The only move. Check. Knight check. 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 And queen checkmate. Cannot take queen f1, queen f8 mate. Check. Lost. Terrific. Absolutely fantastic player. You cannot afford to give him space. If Sasky got space, maneuvering and attack, if Sasky got advantage in open line and development, he was just a monster. So it is very dangerous to play like this kind of thing, giving Sasky all of one move in the opening. The bishop into knight, there is that move. So this is just bad. I have discussed now one game, this one. Okay, I will discuss tomorrow. I will discuss tomorrow. No, tomorrow is off day. I'm sorry. Wednesday is my off day. So I will discuss day after tomorrow. Lot of fantastic games of Spassky, new ideas. All this thing, and along with that reference to modern theory also I will discuss. So thank you very much, friends, being with me. I will be back tomorrow, Thursday morning at 9:30 again. See you day after tomorrow. तब तक सबको मेरा नमस्कार. Take care and bye bye.